Firstly, thank you guys. Thanks for tuning in today. This happens to be our fourth meet, a fourth Sogin meet. Well, we have a very passionate SolidWorks user. We invited. Thanks for accepting our invitation, David. We really appreciate your time, effort, energy. Also, our group really recently hit about 400 members now, and it's been one of those amongst those top 3 groups in the SolidWorks community. Uh, yeah. So talking about today's presentations, we have deep dive into SolidWorks MBD. SolidWorks has recently launched a lot of new modules in their desktop application, and one such things which this is not the thing which they have recently launched, but it's one of those fascinating things which SolidWorks have launched from their sites. A deep dive into MBD. MBD means the model-based definition. As always, we will start with a quick intro about the topic, which will then be followed by a technical presentation, and soon we will have a Q&A session at the end of our meet. So the biggest challenge about our shop floor workers is they need to completely understand the complex assembly instructions which we give in our 2D drawings. The manufacturing also becomes a waste due to inadequate trainings provided to them. Even if he is a kind of skilled labor or unskilled worker, he needs to improve the productivity as individual context to the industry. So the another challenge which all shopkeeper workers face is they are graphics intensive and self-explanatory documents really being a tough time for them. So to cure all these things, SolidWorks has launched the MBD model. What MBD stands for is the model-based definition. Now, it's really helpful for the designer also and all the shop floor workers, because sometimes I really pray for all these shop floor workers, because these engineers who not only needs to analyze those drawings in their head, they need to completely read it, visualize it, and then understand it and try to execute it. But at times what happens is 60% of the 2D drawings, they don't really match the original 3D design. The 3D design which I'm talking about is the customer's requirements, what the customers need. So with that, SolidWorks MBD has given a very effective solution. You can directly jump into the 3D modeling and the product manufacturing information, that's your PMI. Look, these are things which we can revisit in a few moments. I'm letting you know just in case. So you can get drawings which are crystal clear and dimensioning tools which are easily understandable to the shop floor worker and the manufacturing worker who is in the industry out there. So for this, we have a really awesome presenter, Mr. David Castillo. Thanks for being with us today. We really appreciate your efforts. He's a certified SolidWorks expert based in Mexico. More than 15 plus years of experience in relative fields. He has also his YouTube channel called CuriousCAD Online. You can go surf it out there, and he will be going more in detail about the SolidWorks MBD. So over to you. I'm just toss over to you the screen. And the meanwhile, David, I would like to hear some insights from your journey, like how you began with designing, your journey basically from as being a successful design engineer from Mexico. You just share some insights, and in the meanwhile, we'll toss over the screen towards you.
Okay, well, I will take it from here.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I got around 18 years of experience with SolidWorks and in designing for industry, mainly doing some mechanical engineering, machine tooling, machine shop, doing some applications for the assembly on the production lines, and most recently for product and for production support. So I've been around using SolidWorks since 99 version. Not that I'm starting using on 99, because I was start learning on the college around the 2002, and we got the 99 version the first time I met SolidWorks, and then from that version I nearly use all the versions from that year. I am right now current user of 2020, not 2021. Basically, more for the industrial application I'm in. because I don't want to mix the versions between applications on the industry. I've been working for industries from food, oil and gas, manufacturing, automotive, basically all the kind of industries that we have. And also beyond my role within a company, I have my consultancy. I love to teach students, so I got a lot of students during these years and teach them how to use SolidWorks from basics to advanced or to experts, so they can experience and passion in this mechanical engineering.
That's great. That's awesome.
Well, let me start with the MBD presentation. This will be for most of you the first approach to this technique. So let's start. Okay, so let's start with this. Basically, what is MBD? As Nikhil was said, is the acronym that indicates the concept of model-based definition, or in other cases, you may hear model-based design. And what is this? It's basically, it's a way to present all the information for a model for the manufacturing without the need to have 2D drawings or DXF or DWG or printed or blueprints on the shop floor. Just having the 3D model, and that's it, having all the information for the manufacturing, utilizing the benefits of the original file or a 3D model file. All the specifications that make you manufacture a product, it's known as PMI, or Product Manufacturing Information, and this includes some of the dimension, bill of materials, GD&T, specs, side notes, and all the information that you may need for manufacturing, even is machining, assembly, or whatever you may need, even painting, post-processing like thermal treatments, or whatever you may need for the manufacturing of the product or the assembly that you may intend. One of the reasons that we need to use more MBD is in this time we have a current trend to go into the digital transformation or the digital information, and we're on the pursuing right now on eliminating the prints, a lot of copy paper, and also to reduce the amount of files that we have to review, update, and put to the current standards. Like, for SolidWorks, for example, we have an assembly, we have a part and drawings. So maybe you will have 3 or more files for one same intent, and with MBD you will try at least to avoid the drawing file, so you only have to worry about the 3D modeling. Also, you don't have with MBD, that is more a technique than just a module for SolidWorks, is it's a way to eliminate all the time you spend doing the detailing of drawing, because it sounds more natural for everyone that if you have the 3D model with all the dimension in them, you don't have to duplicate it in a drawing. So you just have to place the missing nodes for the file, and the GD&T missing not can be easily seen or deducted by seeing an assembly. So that's why the MBD it's a very useful tool for that. Also, there's a major benefit using the MBD, because when you imported some files from STEP or IGS or Parasolid or any other kind of file, you can have a 3D model, and from the 3D model you can start doing all the dimensioning part on the 3D model, and you don't have to have the original operation on the tree. One of the things that SolidWorks taught about the implementation of this MBD technique, it's that not everyone in the shop will have the access to a SolidWorks license or a way to visualize all the information in a 3D model. So they had the option to export the needed information to different kind of files. One example is a PDF. You can have a translation or an export from the 3D model directly to the PDF in a 2D way. So just in case you need it, you can have a print copy in the shop floor, and you can see more in detail critical specifications. Also, if you don't have, as I was mentioning, a full license of SolidWorks, you can also open your document, your 3D document, if there is a part or an assembly, into eDrawings. As you know, or you may know, eDrawings is a free tool or a free software for everyone, so we can visualize all the properties of a document in SolidWorks in SolidWorks files or different kind of files. So to be a little bit more clear and have a hands-on in some exercises, I will share the SolidWorks application.
So it's like, David, the eDrawings are accessible to every person, right? Even if he doesn't have a desktop application of SolidWorks installed, right?
So starting with the first type or kind of example, we got this 3D model part that it was designed and built into SolidWorks application. So this is a native file, and you can see that we have all the operations here needed to build this part. So first of all, if you want to start doing the MBD dimensioning, avoiding the 2D file, you need to activate the MBD tab that is located just as the same that you have the surfaces or the sheet metal or weldment modules. So you activate your MBD. Depending on the kind of license that you have for SolidWorks, it will appear different. For for example, this is the student license. So for the student license, it appears as MBD dimension. But if you have a professional or a premium license, you can have more options, more operations here. And also in the premium one, you can have the option to
Hey David,
about the 3PDF editor and edit templates about 3D.
David, can you hear me? Hello? David, hello? Can you hear me, David?
Yes.
Yeah, even this student application also, the student access also have all the soft features. Just quickly go into the drop downs of settings. You can get into it through the add-ins option.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just wait a minute. I got.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so let me work with the camera. It was shut off. Okay. So sorry. Well, yes, I was telling you that depending on the kind of the license, you got different options. For example, this is a student license, what I have been showing you, but in the premium or professional, you have more options that will allow you to edit a 3D PDF and templates and have more options dimensioning this. But having this license, you will have enough operations and enough features to do the MBD modeling.
Hey David, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, even for the student access, we have all those options. Quickly go into the drop down of your settings. It's above your display here.
Yes.
And then we can bring it from the side in options.
Yes.
That would be a really cool thing. You can just expose all the options to the members out there.
Yes. So starting with this example, first of all, we can have a lot of options to start the MBD. We have as we have the same option on the drawings, we have the auto dimensioning, or we just we can add the needed GD&T for this drawing. For starting, we have these tabs. The tab we are looking for is the DIM Expert Manager, and inside the DIM Expert Manager, we have also the auto dimensioning, the basic location, the basic dimensions, the GD&T options, and a couple of more stuff. So maybe one first attempt that you want to do, the first approach you want to do, is to do the auto dimensioning. So this auto dimension is pretty quick, it's pretty awesome. So we have two kinds of a start for analyzing this part: the prismatic and the turn. The turn one is for the revolve operations. So for this one, we have to attempt this as prismatic. We can also have the plus minus option for the tolerance on geometric. We leave it as geometric and the dimensioning as linear. Then starting to analyze this model, we have to determine the datums of the model. So the primary datum, we determine it as this base. As a secondary one, can bring one of the original planes. And for the tertiary, we may there's one missing, so we bring all from the model template, and we can also convert some features, and we can take in account the planes, surface, cones, all the operations. Maybe we don't want all, but just the main ones, and also the contour boards. And just as is, just click it OK, and let SOLIDWORKS to determine the operations and the nodes needed for this.
Awesome.
So as this first approach, we have a lot of nodes. By options, you can determine that you don't have duplicates on this. So pretty much is what I did. I bring up the options of SOLIDWORKS. And in document properties, you have also the DIM experts, and into the DIM expert options, you have you can select what you want that you want to may appear. I selected as a start to have it as general, with no different kind of dimensioning or the tolerancing as bilateral or symmetric. I just leave it as general. And also for all the option. And for displaying option, I eliminate the duplicates, and I want to show the instance count. For example, if we have multiple holes, we may have, as in the drawings options, that you have 2 times this kind of holes or 5 times this kind of hole node. As you can see, there's a lot of dimensioning of here, but the main thing of this technique is not only to have all the drawing dimension. You only want to have the critical ones. So for some application, for example, we have some not needed or duplicated or implicit dimension. For example, this radius. This radius, we can easily measure it from the model, and in the shop floor we can have it easily measured. And you may not want to share this kind of information and have this 3D model saturated with dimensions. So you maybe want to eliminate this if you did the automatic, or just started dimension all the things that you need. So I will erase all this dimensioning from the automatic display, and I just wanna place the important GD and T for this part, because all the dimensioning, the radius, the length, there's things that you can see it, or even if you print it, or you have a CNC program or an NC program, you can have automatically determined by the software. But what you don't have is the specification on tolerancing. So it's what you may primarily focus on this kind of approach. So for some operation or subdimensioning, you don't have it really clear. One example of this is, for example, the separation from this cylinder from this cylinder, and we want a specific tolerance from here. So to place the correct dimensioning of this, we have to add some reference geometry. So we have to add the axis from this portion and the axis from the other option. Now with those two references, we can go now to the DIM expert and have our location dimension and dimension from axis to axis, just as we do with any dimension, and bring just this dimension and edit it on the tolerancing options with what we really need. For example, I place it as bilateral plus 5 minus 0. That, as an example, this is the real tolerance that we need for this part. So as you can see, we can place all the dimensioning, but it will look really saturated and not really needed at the end of the day for the manufacturing. But what we really need is that we have some tolerancing specification for the part that the production team, we really know we need to place this kind of dimensioning. Other kind of notes that we may need that is, for example, the size of this counterboard. And so for this kind of operation, that the diameters and the counterboarding, we bring the size dimensioning and select the hole, and directly bring the dimension needed for this counterboring operation. Also, if we want to add some GD&T for this part, we may add first the datums. So we have in this upper part the datums, and select the plane corresponding to this datum.
David, one of our members has a question. Can we just represent a surface treatment tool through these dimensions? Yes, I guess we can. The type of surfacing symbol, and maybe David will come to it later.
Yes, I'm going to abort that on the next example. We are approaching just from the very first steps and what kind of options that we have. So we don't only want to add datums on the surfaces on the main planes. We can add the datums on diameters, just as on regular knobs that we have. And we can bring the nodes from the tolerancing. So we can bring all this kind of nodes on one model, approaching by the automatic dimensioning or just placing the needed tolerancing for this model. At the end of the day, what you may want to do in some of the cases is this last approach, just only placing the tolerancing or the GD&T nodes for the model to avoid saturating the model with all this kind of dimension, and at the end of the day, all these saturated dimensions we can easily measure it by using the evaluating tool of measure. This example came from a part that is native from SolidWorks, but I'm going to sample that is not a native SolidWorks part. I already imported it from a step file, and as you can see, we don't have any operation, any dimensioning or previous dimension. We just have the part modeling in 3D and all the operations embedded. So we can do for this kind of part the very same process. We can do the auto dimensioning, selecting as prismatic, geometric, linear, selecting the primary, the secondary, and the tertiary datum. Selecting, in this case, all the feathers is just the model, the complete model, and we maybe want to select all the options available for the features, and just click
just
it
like a replica of a feature extraction, right?
Yes. So in this case, we have all the nodes needed automatically without any previous operation of or any previous nodes or dimension for the model. It's just an important part, and SolidWorks automatically bring the dimensions here. Also, as you can note, the datum A, B, and C came automatically from the planes I selected as datums. So in this case, for example, it will have for us a lot of time spending doing a complete dimensioning on a 2D drawing from an imported part that we don't really know at the first approach, but using the automatic options from MBD, we can have it dimensioning all the needed features of this model, and we don't have to spend a lot of time doing this. And also, this we are talking about parts, but right now we are going to move to the assemblies. Oh, there's another thing. Solving one questions that we have on the chat. One option, for example, as the surface treatment or the heat treatment for this part, one solution that we have for this is to load nodes. We can have loaded node files and just drag it to the model, and we can have the nodes as the general nodes we regularly have for our drawings, for general nodes. we can bring those general nodes to the 3D model directly and have it attached to the model and being shown. So, for example, if it is not noted in the drawing some tolerance, we can have attached the general tolerance, and we cover this part for the fabrication.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes. So, for example, some things that the heat treatment that is an option that we don't have here. We can add the material, and for the exported file, or for the file that some guy on the machine shop can see this part, he maybe can see the material type, but he won't be able to notice if they have a finished surfacing or a heat treatment. So we can have the heat treatment and the finishing noting of this general node that we can bring from the previous file. And okay, covering this, I'm going to move the assemblies. Thing on MBD for SolidWorks on assembly is that if you want to look at it on assemblies, you won't find any tab for the MBD. So, but it can be do the MBD process, because we have available the DMExpert manager. So we can, even if we don't have the MBD tab, we have the DMExpert manager, so we can bring to the model the dimension that we may need. For this example, I don't want, or for assemblies, we don't want to have the automatic dimensioning, because it will be very, very large. And as we can see in assembly, it's very visual what part we have, and it's very related what part we have attached to this. So maybe we want just only to add the needed nodes, and the needed node is already here, so we can bring the basic location, that because we just want to bring the separation between, in this example, the tables, and we can have the dimension located here. If we don't want it, because it's automatic placed the dimension here, if it's not a good option for us, this kind of view, we can change the appearance or the annotation view, that and we will have this dimensioning by right-clicking the dimension and select the annotation view that we want. We can bring it in whatever we need. For example, I will change it to the right position. So when I activate and orient the dimension, we can have it in the position I will want. If the options that we have for the views, we can add views by right-clicking and insert an annotation view. We can have it based on one of the planes, and we bring on a new annotation view. and we can change the name, calling it front tower. Hello, Anna. I am seeing your comment. I will answer this before the end of this presentation about how to share the information for the production if they don't have a 3D software.
Cool.
Okay, so this is for the dimensioning on the DMExpert manager. So, what about the BOM or the bill of material? For the bill of material in the 3D modeling, we have the option directly into the assembly tab. We have the bill of material. We can activate it, and just as in the drawing, we can select the parts, top level, indented. I will select part only. I will click OK. I will select the annotation view that I want to be shown the BOM chart, and we can bring it into the model. So in this case, without the need of having a studio drawing, we can have the chart and the 3D model for this part. That is the main information that we may want for this kind of approach for an assembly.
So this is basically a manufacturing bill of material, right?
Yes. And for, as I was mentioning, in some cases, the limitations for this MBD approach is that not everyone, even in the shop floor or in the as a staff, people or employees, not everyone have a full license of SolidWorks, so they can see all the information on the 3D model. So one way to show the information without SolidWorks is as a first approach, or I will say our first options, the eDrawings. We can save all our information generated in SolidWorks in the native file. So, for example, this file is a native part in SolidWorks, and I bring all the GD&T information, and we can see it in eDrawings. Remembering that eDrawings is a free software, well, not the pro version, but the regular or standard version of eDrawings is free for everyone, so everyone can see this kind of model in eDrawings and also have the option to measure it. Well, as you know, if you activate the option when you save the file, you can measure. You have proper dimensioning of the part and also have the nodes. So I will recommend. As a first option this kind of approach, the eDrawings. But if for the kind of equipment, let's say the computer is too old and doesn't support the eDrawings or any other visualization software, we can have another option. We can export this part through the 3PDF. There's directly into the SolidWorks file the option to save as a 3D PDF. And with our previous templates, we can add previous determined views, as front, right, top, back, isometric, and we can have in the work area the main dimension we want to show into the 3D PDF. Also, we can have side notes, just leaving a space to type any kind of special treatment or special operation for this part, or special instructions, and we can have all this information shared. And a PDF is a pretty common file with not special requirements of or resources for the computer, and everyone can see it. And also from this file, you can print it into 3D to the printer and have it a solid copy into the shop floor.
Well then, David, so to conclude, we can drop all our dimensions, all our geometric tolerancing and dimensioning. We can also import all the bill of materials, whether it be your MBOM or your eBOM, and apart from it, all our annotations, custom notes, everything into the 3D PDF, right?
Yes, we can bring all the information. We can set, we may set, as I mentioned, the notes into the right annotation view, set the annotations view into the template, and in the work area we can select the annotation view and toggle the part and rotating and seeing all the properties of this.
Amazing. So that's the battery pin connector, right?
Yes.
Well, one of our attendees asking whether the 3D PDFs can be compatible with mobile devices. It depends how compatible your mobile is to open and to expose the 3D views, everything like that. But definitely your computer or laptop or any device which you are using is capable of showcasing them.
Yes, and also, well, as a useful tool, I have it the eDrawings version for mobile devices, and it's a pretty useful tool for visualization. So you can have it the eDrawings on your mobile, and also you can see on your mobile device the PDF or the 3D PDF. I will recommend, as I was mentioning, as first approach the eDrawings, because it's more respectful of the information we are showing. And in the 3D PDF, I avoided this part for this presentation, but you may have a pop-up alert about the unsecurity of the file and ask you for an acceptance to fully open the file to display of this, and maybe that will take a little bit of time to open the 3D PDF, and maybe on some mobile devices can be do this kind of opening. But on a PC, it can be done. You just want to have the most recent version of Acrobat Reader, and that's it.
And yeah, just like you have the Android application for viewing the AutoCAD files, the .dwg files, we also have an eDrawings opener. So you can just view this drawing and you have it like an Android application for the same.
Yes, actually, I'm working more on iOS devices, and
Okay.
I have the eDrawings viewer for iOS, and it works amazing for this stuff and
So
review
that would be very, very, very handy, right?
Yes, and also you can open DXF on DWE from eDrawings, so that's amazing.
And one of our attendees asking, can we show dimensions in exploded view in MBD? Well, if you are thinking of converting into a 3D PDF, I don't think that's possible. You need to have a desktop application of that CAD software for it.
Yes, let me change.
So guys, you have any other questions for this? I guess Anna has typed something in Spanish that's way out of my league. Can you just read it out, David?
Okay, let me read. Okay, Anna, I will explain this in English and then I will answer you in Spanish. Anna is questioning about is there's possible to have an explosion view from an assembly from 50 or more parts and don't have issuing about the slowing the showing of the part. On SolidWorks, in SolidWorks, it's a kind of trouble, a resourcing demanding thing, but when you have it on PDF or 3D XML, you don't have that problem. You can have a very smooth transition, moving, rotating. So yeah, for PDF, we will work better and smoother. And someone was asking about showing the expert dimension on exploded views. It can be possible, but at some point won't be understandable because you separate the parts and will be confusing about the real dimension that you want for this. But also on the explosion view, you can have the boom showing into the 3D model. So basically, that's I guess that's all that I have this preparing for this showing. I guess this was interesting for you. This is not a very mature module or technique developed to this day, but no, I want to warn you that not only SolidWorks have this approach of MBD. There's other 3D modeling software that took this approach and placed it into their software. So this is what I want to say with this is that this is a thing that we begin from now and we will establish to the future. Just as we mentioned earlier this day, the 3D Experience platform is the thing that will come to the future and we will be established as the new standard.
Yeah, as David said, recently in the recent release of Creo 8.0, we saw there was an Creo MBD module introduced to the version, right?
Yes. Creo is the more advanced on this one, but it's not the only one. As we can see, we have a very solid module in SolidWorks.
Yeah. So apart from this, any questions, guys? What's the best place to learn GD&T? Well, if you have internet, then you have the most powerful person in the world. There are a lot of online platforms where you can learn.
I will say to Miher that the best place to learn GD&T, it's the first one. It's at the college. If you have the options to go as a learner or as a hearer to this class of GD&T or the dimensioning class, took it because it's a pretty useful tool, and you will find, well, it's in my experience, you can go to quality guys into the shop floor and not all know the correct GD&T things. So when you go to the practical application of this, not all knows about GD&T right, but you can learn it into the classroom, or maybe you want to go to the expert consultant to this topic, because it's a really important thing, and not everyone knows it. You may be faced as a manufacturer or as a designer to go to quality guys and teach them about GD&T and what that does mean on the drawing.
Also, we do have a separate exam called the CSWP MBD. David, can you give us some insights, some tips and tricks regarding how we can just grab that exam?
The
WP MBD, the professional MBD exam.
Okay, sorry. There's a lot of resources on mysolidworks.com. There's a learning path about MBD. It's very complete. It's obviously more robust than this initial presentation or this introductory presentation, and you have all the information needed to pass the exam into the learning resources into the my.solidworks.com.
Yeah, perfect. Also, David, could you showcase your YouTube channel like as a source for an extra learning for students who want to explore?
Of course. I have all my social media. You can find me in LinkedIn as David Castillo, CSWE. You can find my YouTube channel as Cursos CAD Online. Also, I have a Facebook page, Twitter, and TikTok, and I will type into the chat the links to my social media.
Sure. Also, I want to have links to
to all of you. And I see a couple of guys from Mexico connected, and thanks to you to attend. Also, I want to share a couple of words with you. We know that you in India have been passing a couple of troubled weeks. We have you in our minds, in our hearts, and we expect that you overcome these difficult times. And you know that we share your thoughts with us. We have you in our prayers, and I hope that all of you stay safe. Take this opportunity to have this communication through the online resources, to avoid the social contact, to avoid this disease or the virus contact. And also, I want to dedicate this presentation in memory of the engineers or professionals that have lost the battle to the virus through all this year. I know that you know someone or you have a familiar being lost during this time. I want you to take a moment to think on him or her. As for me, I have in a very deep memory the recent decease of a friend that is Gilberto Marin, and he's a pretty young guy like you and us. He has a family, and he lost the battle with this virus, and I want to dedicate this presentation to him, and for all of you to think on one and say a prayer for you.
Thanks for your kind words, David. Really appreciate it. May Jesus give more efforts to his family to bear his loss. Also, guys, if you just miss out any of our session, this is the link which I'm sharing with you. You can just check out any sessions which you have not attended before. It's like we really appreciate if you could attend the sessions online, but yeah, we understand not everyone could be in person with us. So here's the link. I've dropped it down of the channel. You can just visit and attend any sessions if you have just missed any. So with that said, guys, all support to the Indian people, all support to the Mexican people out there. And maybe these things are not falling into place for now, but we soon see a ray of hope, a promise of sunshine coming all our way. And we just hope for the best so that things get into normal. So is there anything apart from this, if you have to ask?
I guess Nathan got an answer, got a question. Is there any way we can preview 3D models without using modeling applications? I don't really know much about GrabCAD. GrabCAD is, you know?
It's like an online platform where engineers, designers can put forward their engineering stuff which they design, model, and it's basically open source. Okay, so you can download it whenever you want from any device, wherever you wish from. And as far as my knowledge is concerned, I think we can view it not from our mobile phones. I've never tried from it, but yeah, definitely because you have a 3D viewer pre-installed in your Windows, I suppose. So you can definitely view it, even though if you don't have any application. But that the guy who has posted it out, he needs to also take care that the file is going to be viewed from a 3D PDF or 3D viewer.
Yeah, the GrabCAD is like a 3D Content Central. It's a place where you can upload your 3D files and download it later for anyone. So it's shared.
Yeah. Yeah, we also have the Fusion 360 app for mobile. You can also view it from that. So anything apart from this, guys? Cool. So with that said, David, thanks for being with us today. Thanks for accepting the invitation. We'd love to end the meeting with there.
Oh, thanks. It was an honor to be collaborating with you, and also I am able and happy to collaborate in the future.
Okay, thank you. So I'll just end the presentation. Thank you, guys. Thanks for being with us today. Thank you.